to the cloud. We are live. Okay, here, here we go. 9 o'clock. Thanksgiving Day in America. 11/26/2020. Welcome everybody. Mark Wriggle here with John Lavenia's Success Mastermind. Adrian, how you doing, man? Nikki, Koila, Khaled's here. Suzanne from Switzerland. Coral, Mandy, and Carl, and Sonia's here. Jane, Stella, Cyril, how you doing, man? Lindsay, I see Daisy coming on. There'll probably be a few hours as we get going here. Um, hey, Mandy. Yeah. So, look, today I know every couple of weeks I do these. The sessions are really based around leadership, but today's an important day, and I know other countries have different dates that they use. But I thought, maybe I'll take a moment and we kind of got into a topic this week. I've seen it, we mentioned it a couple times with gratitude and being grateful and being blessed. And I think on a day like this, how much more appropriate would it be to just take a few, this hour here that we have and talk about this. So the one thing that is the MO for me is I do have a short presentation, but today's presentation is going to be on some background on Thanksgiving. I'm not going to get into the details because each country celebrates in a different way, but I thought it might be interesting, and I'm not saying this is the end all and answer all. I may not have touched all bases, probably not, but I figured I'd put some information up here so we can see what countries do celebrate Thanksgiving in some ways. What's the background of that? And then at the end of the presentation, which will probably be pretty short, relatively speaking, to what I usually do, is open it up and let's just have a free for all and let's offer our gratitudes and our blessings and our stories and just kind of share in the moment for a little bit. And if we have to cut it off short because we're done shooting the bull a little bit, we'll move on. But I just wanted to open it up that way. Okay, so let me get to my share screen and get this rolling. Where am I at? There we go. That's the one I want. And I will make this the big screen. See if I can do this right. So, and I named it. I titled it, Global Celebration of Thanksgiving, because until I had done this last night, as I'm thinking, do I really want to? And I had another presentation which I will do in a couple more weeks. So I'll just push them out. That this who does Thanksgiving? Is this just absolutely unique to America? 'Cause I've heard the Canadians and even the Chinese have some sort of Thanksgiving, and I went, wow, really? Okay, so I went in here, just went online, just like I did with the other information last week, Adrian. Just go online. Hey, the internet is a powerful tool. It has amazing information. So we won't go down that road, but I mean, it's just if you want information, all you got to do is you got to know your language and type in a few words, and you're off to the races. Anyway, so who celebrates Thanksgiving? Now, Thanksgiving has different meanings for different countries, but for many countries, it does have some of the same meaning. They may celebrate it in slightly different ways, but we'll get to that in a minute. But just as an example here, take a moment to look through the list here of who celebrates Thanksgiving, and I thought, but when I saw a country like Liberia, but then I thought, huh, that's right. The slaves of America, a number of them moved to Liberia back, at the turn of the century, prior to the turn of the century, last century, and started kind of a new life. So that would make sense to me and why that happened. St. Lucia, I suppose there's some level of colonization that has occurred, as man does to each other, not always in a good way, but throughout the world, that is man, as my dad once said to me after a fight, and I think I mentioned this before, as long as there's two men in the world, one's going to have to dominate and one's going to have to submit. Again, although we're speaking of Thanksgiving and being celebratory, we still have those that think otherwise. So we just let's celebrate the things that we do have and the blessings that we do have at any given time. And I think we want to maybe focus in that direction. And this whole John Lavenia Mastermind environment is absolutely for that purpose. Barbados, Canada, the Netherlands. Um, And of course, each of you who are in your various countries can speak much more robustly and officially than I can to how Thanksgiving is. And I would hope that maybe in the course of today, you'll step out here and offer your observations, so we can all learn. I think that'd be a great thing to do. AK, otherwise known as, right? So, how do these countries? What is it called? What is Thanksgiving called? The Sukkot, the Kaamatan, Harvest Festival, the Homowo from Ghana. Um, I'm going to probably hammer this one from Brazil, but for those who speak Spanish, I know the Dia de Acao de Gracias. Is that how you say that? Or if somebody wants to step out here and correct me, I'm sure I just hammered the heck out of that one. Um, the South Koreans have the Hangawi, which was the original name, and then they changed that. And the same with for Japan. Japan has as I think it's called the Labor Thanksgiving Day now, but it was called the Ni Manasai. So, and then Germany, for those who are German, I'm sure you understand that word. And then China has their Moon Festival. What gets eaten at these festivals? Well, I'm sure this is not the end all answer all list, but I just there's some obvious items there that I would suspect that many of us do eat. But and you can probably look at some of those and go, yeah, those probably get eaten in those particular countries, because I'd say most of us are probably pretty worldly in many respects and have traveled and understand many of the different foods that exist in different countries. So, and then so why? What are the two main reasons that at least that I found that people celebrate? Well, one of them is the colonial migration that occurs, and people are giving thanks that they and much like we do here in America, and actually the Canadians as well. Because I believe the ships that came over during kind of the same time frame, and some went to Canada, and some came to America. And then of course the lunar cycle of harvest season. So it's the fall season when we're pulling, when we're harvesting the plants that have been grown through the summer months, and people are and cultures are taking stock. No pun intended, but that's what they're doing. They're counting their blessings. They're counting that they've had a good crop this particular year, and they celebrate that because with the harsh winter months, they have to have a good enough crop to be able to have that community be able to survive through some pretty harsh times. But what is the common theme in all these things? And I think we do this here as well, even on a daily basis with the JLSM environment. We are celebrating time, our blessings, what we have learned, the positiveness of the environments that we live in, what's important to us. Why are we here? Why do we reflect that information in that way? What is, what do we take that allows us to still have a great feeling and a great understanding and appreciation and gratitude? The morning miracle. I mean, anybody here who still does the savers aspects of the morning miracle. I mean, that's part and parcel of it too, and providing your daily gratitudes. Who writes down their gratitude still, or has a list of gratitudes that they pronounce to themselves during that time of silence in the morning, and then the affirmations for the rest of the day. So this is all part and parcel to what we do as we participate in this environment with John Lavenia and each other. Um, this was not necessarily associated with some of the information that I had pulled off, but I thought, since we are talking about what is grateful and grace and those things that we should take account of, and what would those things be? So when I consider when I saw this, I ran across this. Said, grateful heart. It was a part of a actually it was some agenda information on a sermon, and I thought, wow. And there were a series of sermons that were available, and I just kind of read through them, and I said, this right here. This is exactly who we are and what we're doing and how we are participating with one another and the information that we bring out every day in every session. Um, and I just thought this is so aligned with what we where we are emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically in this this family of ours that we've been doing. So, well, I think for me, I think my first day was March 13th. So in the neighborhood of 8 or 9 months, 8 or 9 months. And some people are longer, and some people are in and around the time I came in. So this is our family now. This is where we're at. So just again, take stock and have a grateful heart. And I'm hoping that will um, give everybody some impetus to step out here today and be brave and come out and share with the family and say, look, this is what I'm really had for. If you have a story, if there are things that have happened that you are grateful for, this is a time to have it. And I just wanted to kind of open up this particular hour instead of some kind of more driven Marine Corps leadership kind of thing. I wanted to focus on us today and where our blessings are and how we feel with one another in our surroundings and what's happening in our lives. And with that, I will pull that off and I will stop my share and I will open up the floor. And I know, like I said, it was going to be pretty quick. Here we are only at 10 after the hour, but I wanted to offer as much opportunity to everybody as possible to participate if they wanted to come out and just, you know, just jabber away. Let's have at it. Let's have a good time today talking about the greatness of life and what's going on and counting our blessings. And yeah, I don't see any hands yet, but okay, Koila, there you go. Bring it out.
Hi, yeah. Here in Scotland and Orkney, it's called Harvest Home, which I think it is in America as well. Harvest Home, that's a celebration, but it tends to be a community thing. So certainly in Orkney and on Westray, it's like a big community meal and shindig and dance and all of that. And that, of course, is not happening this year at all. So the Harvest Festival or the Harvest Home is kind of basically cancelled. And usually what's served is traditional food, so foods that have been brought in the harvest. And Orkney's famous for beef, lamb, and grain and oats, basically. So, and traditional meals would probably be mince and clapshot because there's a lot of potatoes and swedes, otherwise known as neeps here, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's definitely a thing. And down in England, where I originally came from, it would be Harvest Festival. And I can remember as a child going to the church, and I went to 2 convent schools as well. So I would go to the C of E church, and then there'd also be celebrations at school. And the place would be decked out with corn dollies and, big collections of produce and that kind of thing. And it was just a celebration, really, and everybody being happy and grateful that we had food. And obviously, there have been times in human history where we haven't had food, and there have been famines and etc. So we are extremely lucky in this day and age that generally speaking, there isn't a shortage of food, though there are people who can't afford food. And there are areas of the world where they still have famines and still have extreme shortage of food and people dying of starvation. So we really do need to count our blessings, I think. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Koila. That is a fantastic kickoff. Thank you very much. What a way to open the doors here. Thank you. Sonia, come on out.
Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
In
Happy
Canada,
Thanksgiving.
we had our Thanksgiving a little while ago, but there's one thing it's a practice I do, and I think everyone has their own practice of something that reminds them to get back into that grateful space when they're not feeling particularly grateful that day or that week or whatever. So when I was growing up, we were dirt poor. And I mean like dirt poor. Some of our neighbors had dirt floors. And my brother and I always call it the spaghetti years, because that's all we had to eat was spaghetti every night, all the time. And if we had meat, we were really, really lucky that week. But anyway, my next door neighbor, to me, they were like the epitome of rich. They had 2 cars. Both the mother and the father had their own business. And they always had toilet paper, paper towels, and Kleenex all at the same time. So to me, that became my identification of what wealth is. And ever since I've been on my own as an adult, I've always had those 3 paper products in the house, and I feel ridiculously poor if I don't have them. So whenever I'm feeling ungrateful, or I'm angry, like I have a rental property, and this week the dryer blew up for the 2nd time in a month, and the water heater blew up, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking around my house, and I'm like, oh, I got paper towels, toilet paper, and Kleenex. I'm good. So I would love to hear what other people's tricks or what they do to remind themselves that they're grateful, not just at Thanksgiving, but when you're having a bad week or things go wrong and you're angry or you're frustrated or whatever, and you catch yourself in that cycle. What do you guys do to get out of it? For me, it's paper products.
Great, Sonia. Thank you very much. Yeah, this and this is you kind of alluded to it, that how you look to the things that kind of bring you back into reality. That say, hey, look, when I'm feeling a little woeful for myself, like Glenn had talked about, this is. You have a car. I'm not walking. I have a roof over my head. I still have food in my mouth, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, these are the blessings and whatever it is, that the childhood things that happen that continue with us through our whole lives, that for whatever reason, if we have those things and that sort of minimal aspect of, if I have these things, then life is good. Just like you say, Sonia, I think that is just, and it still sits there. It's like yesterday, so but if it keeps you there and it keeps you positive, that's what works. Thank you. Hey, Mandy, I see your hand up. Come on out.
Hi, Mark. This is really lovely. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you're having awesome days. I think the UK Thanksgiving, and I could be wrong, but I think it's the Harvest Festival. So that's been something that, according to Wikipedia, has been going on since pagan times. And it is to celebrate the harvest and having the food, etc. And yet having a good crop. It takes me back to when I was a child, and when my son was at school. When I was a child, we would always take something into school for Harvest Festival, and we'd always take. I think at that time we took fresh fruit and everything, and there used to be so much food everywhere. I'm not really sure what they did with it when I was a child. But now, these days, when James was at primary school, everybody would take something in, and it would usually be a tin or pasta or something. The last time we took it in, it went to the food banks, which I thought was a really nice touch. So they would have somebody come in from the church and do a service, and then all the children would come in, and they'd go in their rows, and all the little ones that are like 4 or 5, it's so cute, and they will come in and sit down. They put all the food there, and you can see all the food, and then it goes out to the food banks, and it went to the people that needed it. And like Holly was saying, there's so many people out there that don't have food, and even more so at the moment with what's been going on. With people losing their jobs left, right, and centre, and that's why I think for myself, at the moment I am just so grateful a lot of the time. I've got myself a gratitude app. Nobody would see it, but you can put your own. Basically, you can't really see that, but it's a gratitude app, and basically you can just go in. It's like a journal, and so I've been putting things in, and I've been just reading through some of the things I put in since the start. So, back in August, August 17th, I'm so grateful for the opportunity I have been given for a new business and for the finance the universe has provided to keep me going in the meantime. And then in 25th, I'm so grateful for the Success Mastermind group and the support and friendship it brings into my life. I'm so grateful for having James in my life and for the times he's made me feel the fear and do it anyway. And then I'm really grateful that myself and my family have avoided getting coronavirus and have not been impacted seriously by the pandemic so far. Because I see myself as being so lucky, because I've been working from home since May. I found a lot of business. I found all you brilliant people. My son's been able to work from home when he hasn't been able to go to school. We haven't been ill. My family, my parents were ill at the beginning of the year, but they got through it. And they weren't ill with coronavirus, they had other issues. And so what I'm trying to avoid now is waiting for the shoe to drop. But at the moment, I'm not thinking about that, because I'm so grateful that at the moment, there's so much, it's so sad what's happening to people. And I'm just so grateful for everything at the moment. And it's a nice feeling. And thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
Great comments. Thank you very much. Jane, come on out, Jane.
Hi. Yes, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and also to say I feel really blessed. I feel really thankful. At the beginning of the year, this year, I was looking for extra income, and or at least that's what I was looking for. And then I stumbled into Blue Sky and onto John Lavenia Success Mastermind. But truly, what I really found is I discovered myself. I discovered my purpose in life through the extraordinary relationship and help and love within this community, within this family. And that's really transformed every area of my life. Personally, my family, my relationship with people, because I am loving myself. This group has taught me to love myself, to discover myself, and it's affecting every area of my life. And though I wasn't, the Blue Sky was just like, it happened, but I found something more extraordinary, which is being loved, to discover myself and to discover my purpose in life. And I feel really thankful and really grateful, and that you cannot quantify with money. And that's because of this family that I found. And I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. That's wonderful. I have to completely agree with you, Jane. For me, I don't see any hands at the moment, so I'll interject here for a minute. When I started in March, this was just like you. I was with Blue Sky, and this is how I came into being with everybody here that was part of that, and with John. And I know when they branched off, I knew already that where I needed to be aligned, because there were changes that were occurring with me as well. And it was this family here. It was this group. It was John and his morning presentations. That was the conduit for my day. It was how I was able to transition from just kind of getting up, and the books that we were reading. These were experiences that I had not really appreciated or understood. And I'm in such a different place, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of the above, with where I am. And I absolutely feel blessed. I feel grateful. Every day I take moments to do that when I go to bed at night. And before I go to sleep, I just literally into the dark, as I'm staring at the ceiling for a second, where the vision is kind of blurred and you don't even really see the detail. And I just take those moments to just be thankful that I made another day. When I wake up in the morning, that, and I say this kind of jokingly, but it's really serious. To me, so every day that I'm on this side of the permafrost is a good day. That I'm still alive, that I can still eat, that I still have friends, that I still have family, that I still have people who love me and that I love, that I can still do the things that I want to do all the time, and not feel like I have limitations. Just as Glenn said, I see people who have issues that are happening with them physically, and they can barely get by. And anytime I start to go down that path, that little woe is me path, I think, oh man, where am I? Where's that? Why is your head even going in that direction? Get out of that mode. You should not have any kind of thought like that ever. Just those kind of things that I have. So anyway, I see Daisy's hand up here. Go, come on out, Daisy. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Mark. I think you took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry.
And Jane as well. That's okay. Yeah, I think March 18 was the same for me too, Mark. I think I've said that because I was working, I couldn't, and for the life of me, I could not, or I guess the reception at my desk when I was at work, I wasn't able to get in to these calls. And it wasn't only until after we were all told to work from home, I said, hey, now I can go and log in and join these calls. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have ever expanded or met everyone here. And I think that's a blessing in disguise. Sorry, I don't want to get emotional, but even though, with friends, not able to see them, family as quite as much, I'm so thankful for this family, because that's where I've grown. Just wanted to say that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daisy. I love your backgrounds. Yeah, you keep coming up with these great backgrounds. I got to figure out how you get these backgrounds so I can do them too. They're awesome. Who else would like to step out here? Even if it's been said, if they feel compelled, come on out. And everybody's quiet and solemn and okay, Sandi. All right, come on out. Yeah, Sandi. Hey.
Good morning and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hesitated. I was going to speak and then I thought no, and yes and no. I have 100 times 100 things to be thankful for. Every now and again, I have an off day or a bad day, and I get all down and, like, what am I doing? I feel overwhelmed some days, struggling some days, even struggling on the farm some days in the rain or the wind. And then I remember how much I really love doing this. I love my animals. I love my farm. I love where I live. And I love this family. This family has pretty much is my new family. I come from difficult situations like many, many people. And this group has become my new family. And I started off as a little bit of a lark on hey, let me try e-commerce, because I've been a professional medical person all my life, basically. And I thought, oh, let me just see about this. But it has become something so much bigger. And like I said, this is my new family. And although I seldom come out, I'm on these calls and I absorb what I hear. And I think sometimes it's more, my hearing these things is more important than my speaking. So I just want to tell all of you, this is why I thought I wasn't going to speak. I just want to tell all of you how really important you are to me. And I look forward to the day that we actually meet. Thank you and have a beautiful, blessed day.
Thank you, Sandi. And I'm going to do this intermediate. Lindsay, you're up next here, but give me a second here. So, hey, Sandi, say hi to Casper and Honey and Grace Kelly and Lavender Girl, Willow, Bluebell, Pork Chop, Sadie, Penelope, Big Bird, and Cleo.
I will, you sweet
we had such a
man.
good time. We had
You
such a good
sweet
time. It was
man.
so cool with them, man.
Thank you so
It was
much.
so much fun. That was
Thank
great to go
you.
up there and have that experience. I'm sorry, everybody. It's just that when something like that, we've been doing this for so long. We have been talking with each other virtually for so long on Zoom to actually to meet somebody physically and shake their hand and give them a hug and sit down and talk and break bread basically with keto pizza and and just it was just it was a real rage for me. I just had such a good time. To be able to finally put that together. I can't say enough. And the same with Jamie, just to even have a Starbucks and meet this guy, this 6'4" tight end for, Dallas Cowboys in his youth. This guy's a monster. And it's just, when you see him on the screen, you just have such a different, he doesn't look the same. So to have that physical presence, I look forward to something like this with everybody. I really am grateful for this group. So anyway.
And Mark, you just brought joy to my heart that day and every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandi. It was amazing. Really appreciate you hosting and let me come out there and visit. So you have a great place.
Anytime.
You bet. Hey, Lindsay, I see your hand up, and then John, and then Edward. So come on out, Lindsay.
Hey, Mark. I'm sorry, my camera on me. Move on me. I want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving, and I'm really thankful for all of you. I don't talk very much out. I do a lot of listening, but I'm really grateful to be here, and to all of you for being out listening on a daily basis. And I'm thankful to John for telling me about this, and it's just to say I'm just really grateful. Better than last year, so I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Lindsay. You're just a little bit breaking up there, Lindsay. So okay, it was just the connection, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm not interrupting you. And if you got, are you good or?
Yeah, no, I was just going to tell everybody thank you, and I appreciate all of you.
Okay. Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, and it's great to see you, in other venues too. So hope your family's doing well, and enjoy this day. It's a great day. We're here. We're live.
Thank you.
The magnet, Mr. Lavenia, bring it out here.
Hey,
sir.
Mark. Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Good to see you all. Going to take it up a notch here a little bit. The one thing, oh my goodness, who was saying, what's your trick for when you're not feeling grateful? To get grateful again, go look at your toilet paper. Who was that?
I'm Sonia.
Sonia. I had your phone, and you were in my pocket. I was listening on my headset when you were talking about that, but that's really cool. That is so cool. So to have a device that you can use, I would say gimmick, but I think gimmick kind of diminishes it. A device, yes. So that's cool. For me, thinking back, it's having napkins in the napkin holder. Yeah, right. So we had toilet paper. So lucky us, right? But napkins, no, you don't get napkins. In fact, we had we would save napkins. Like if we ever went to like a McDonald's takeout or something, we'd have napkins, and those would be our cherished napkins for the table. And we had the ketchup packets and the soy sauce. Right, we'd save that stuff and put it in the fridge. So I remember when I moved out of New Jersey, because as the previous generation, so goes the next generation. Sometimes, and I had all these soy sauce packets and like the little hot mustard and the duck sauce and like the ketchup, and I'm like, I am throwing all this shit out. I am so not a pauper, right? I do not need to like hoard, soy sauce packets. So, so I'm grateful that I don't have soy sauce packets in my refrigerator, and I do have napkins on the table. That being said, what am I most grateful for right now? Certainly my family, which includes this group, free enterprise or what's left of it, political liberty and what's left of it, and my ability, above all. I remember somebody asking me once, John, if you could have $1 million or you could have your ability, which would it be? Without any hesitation, my ability, because I'm able, right, to make more than $1 million. I'm able to do so many other things beyond just $1 million and whatever that's worth, which is less and less every day. So I'm thinking, yeah, thank goodness for my ability to think and to act, and my willingness to act, and also my energy, my youth. I mean, my goodness, I'm getting this. I'm getting this at a young age. I'm only 50, right? I haven't arrived or anything, but I'm getting it. I've been working on it for 30 years, so I started on this a little while ago. But when I say getting it, I mean getting the whole self-actualization thing to a higher degree. It's all by degree, right? I don't think anyone actually arrives. But with that, I have to also acknowledge, hand in hand with my ability, is my pain tolerance. You know, I mean, I just got back from the gym, which, by the way, if anyone wants to increase your pain threshold, go lift weights. It's a good thing to do. It makes you tougher. But that's physically speaking. Metaphorically speaking, my ability to confront but not react. I guess I would call that a metaphorical pain tolerance, to confront but not react, because I look at all the things that can throw me off, like yeah, all the messaging, all the things that are designed to convince me that I'm not able. Yes, that I'm not cause, that I'm a victim. You know, I'm less than, right? There's all these messages. There's a lot of agreement on that too. Society likes to agree about that. Victimhood's easy to sell, real easy. But that I'm able to confront that and not react to it to a degree. And I'm working on that as well. But that back to ability, right? That I'm able to do something about it. So what is it? What's the sphere of influence that I have chosen to focus on? I got to remember this in my own life. Maybe some of you will find this instructive. For me, it's to expand prosperity and prosperity consciousness for as many people as I can touch in my time on this planet, however long that is. So to that end, I work with entrepreneurs. I work with people who are willing to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. This mastermind group is not for really people who aren't engaged in some sort of a self-determined, entrepreneurial action to whatever degree, right? We've got different people engaged in different businesses. Some are riskier and more laborious and more expensive than others. Okay. But we all have that edge to us, that self-reliant edge, and that willingness to be self-expressed in some way, which includes finances. And so while there are many other things that I suppose I could tackle, that's the one thing that I've dedicated my life to. And again, I would say it's because of what was already mentioned, growing up in a state of lack, right? If I wasn't born into the advantages of lack and limitation, they're not advantages, but I'm reinterpreting them as such. If I didn't have that contrast, then I might be milquetoast in my approach to this whole, entrepreneurship thing. But I'm not milquetoast. No. Right? I've got very, very much clarity. I've got clarity through that contrast. So I think I'm grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. Let me right now express my gratitude for my abusive stepfather, and for the poverty and hunger that I experienced as a youth, and for being a social outcast up and through my adolescence, and for running the streets with drunks and drug addicts, and being almost dead by the age of 15. I'm grateful. Not only that I got out, right, that there was another path, but that I got some lessons that I can now recognize. I didn't see them when I was in it. And I think that's the thing that if we can do now, and this is something that I think Glenn brought up yesterday, if we could be grateful in advance, if we can look at, so right now we've got challenges, right? So whatever your challenges are, I know some are more widespread than others, right? Things like COVID and things like this. But if we could look at those now, and we can kind of advance the videotape a little bit and say, you know what, there's going to be a time where we look back and we get the lesson from all of this. We see how this played out. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out right now, whether we're talking, strictly health and science, civics, government, world trade, right? Economics. There's lots of different facets to this whole thing that we're experiencing right now. But if we could look forward and say, you know what, the world will keep turning. Okay, I'm going to bet on that, right? So I know assume nothing is the first rule of business. Okay, but I'm going to make a bet on that, because if I lose that bet, well, it really doesn't matter, right? So so let me bet on that. And so knowing that this too shall pass, I'm grateful in advance. Thank you, Glenn. I'm grateful in advance for the lessons that I'm learning right now, which are not pleasing necessarily in the moment, but just like my abusive childhood, my goodness, what an advantage I got. Is there anyone here? I probably needed to go into the outdoorsmanship business. Is there anyone here who, once this whole COVID thing is done, assuming we regain liberty, which I guess is open for debate at this point, is there anyone here who isn't going to engage more fully in the great outdoors? Is that going to be a hot industry, do you think? Llama trekking, yes? Anyone? I mean, who would say no at this point? My goodness, who would say no? I'm thinking, outdoorsmanship. That might be my new career. I don't know. It's a little premature right now, but what did Wayne Gretzky say? I don't go where the puck is, I go where the puck is going. So here's the contraction, and then I'm anticipating some sort of a release, right? Contrast. So with every prohibition comes the underground, right? The counter protest or what have you. I'm grateful for my ability to look and observe and to act. And when I have integrity and I do act, well, then everybody else gets to be grateful too, because I showed up. And if I don't, well, why bother, right? So that's what's going through my mind today. And I love and cherish you, Mark, and this group. Thank you for hosting this Thanksgiving special general session here for us Yanks and for anyone else who's tuned in abroad. Awesome stuff. Back to you.
John, I guess this question, maybe I should pose this even to myself, but to the family here. After that, is there any question or any reason why we are here? Why we participate in this environment? Why we listen and share in this environment? So off to you, John. A big salute to you, man. This is exactly why I'm here. This is exactly. And I'm going to follow you to the ends of the earth there, brother. You're a part of my guiding light in life, man. And I owe you. I have such gratitude for you, man. Really do. So thank you. And everybody here. This is such an amazing group. Hey, Edward, I see your hand up. Please come on out and share.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you, everybody who has expressed their gratitude, and thank you for being the lovely family that you are. I wasn't going to speak again. I tend to learn a lot more from listening, and I've learned a lot from listening to all the gratitude that people are expressing. But I thought I should say something at least today. And I'm really thankful for all the decisions that I have made in my life, including the decision to be a member of this group, because I have grown quite a lot, and I see a lot of big things that are going to unfold before me because of the lessons that I'm picking up from here and the actions that I'm taking as a result. I look at that little unconfident barefoot boy running around in school, and the journey from there to an elegant and gallant man with connections all over the world, with lovely friends like I have on this forum. And there's a lot more to be grateful for. But I'm really grateful that I am what I am, and that I have met all of you people in such a difficult climate as it is this 2020 year of COVID and stuff. So I just thought I should say something. I'm really grateful. And yes, Sonia, my thing is shoes and books and tools. It's I think it's because of those years when I really wished I could wear shoes. I've got shoes. You know, every time you talk about Evie and Imelda Marcos and the shoes, I keep quiet and inwardly laugh, because that's one thing that I just made a conscious decision last year to stop buying shoes. So you can imagine what my wardrobe looks like. But yeah, shoes, books, and tools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edward. I'm laughing hard because my better half is Filipina, and we talk about that stuff. Imelda Marcos all the time. I call her Sonia Marcos just to give her a hard time sometimes. She's got so many freaking shoes. But anyway, and we won't even get into what Ivier has behind the curtain, man. But she's coming up right now. Your turn, Ivier.
Thanks, Mark, for that intro. I'm gonna get you back someday.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm looking forward to it. Bring it.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Where do I start? Well, a good place to start would be at the start of this year. If I had made a guess as to how I wanted this year to go and what my expectations were and what my objectives were, it certainly wasn't how the year has unfolded, right? But when I look back on 11 months so far, I couldn't have planned it better. And I say that with all humility, because in the midst of the chaos and the uncertainty, I have advanced personally, professionally, mentally, spiritually, I mean, in all facets of my life, right? And I don't know that I will ever have time like this in my lifetime to refocus, to refresh, to reprioritize, to just take time out, right? And just decide who I want to be, where I want to go, and then go for it, right? So I know I've said this before, but who would have thought that a family like this will be birthed in a year like this? So when I say I've grown, even my network, people I know and people I value in my life have grown. And all of you make that list, and you just add to the richness and the flavor, of my life. So that tapestry is just so rich and so vibrant and so colorful. And it's all because you're in it. Everybody brings, a different shade, a different perspective, and it just makes my life richer and fuller. So I want to say thank you to all of you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to say, this is a year unlike any other, but out of this, we've come together. And I think, in fact, I know that our paths cross for a reason. And that reason is still unfolding. But if what we see today is any indication of what's yet to come, I'm excited. And I look at my life and I look at how dark and bleak and tough things have been. But that also gets me excited, because usually before the dawn, that's the darkest hour, right? And in all the books we're reading, when we go back into the biographies of these people, they came from absolutely nothing. They had the deck stacked against them, but they ended up doing phenomenal things. And we're still learning from their experiences today. So what I say is bring it on. Because if I'm going to judge what my future looks like on the basis of the hardship that I'm going through now, I'm excited. Because the harder it is, the brighter I'm going to shine. The bigger spectacle I'm going to make of myself, like John always says to us to do, right? So I'm expectant for what the future holds. And we are all going to make it together. Whatever your destination is, whatever that picture you have, whatever that mental image you carry, we're all going to get there. And can you imagine when we sit around the fire somewhere or at a barbecue or wherever it is, we end up meeting face to face and we share our stories and our successes? Can you imagine the joy and the laughter and the number of glasses that will be raised to cheer each person on? I mean, that's the picture I have in my head. that we're going to have nothing but good things to celebrate. You know, we're already impacting the next generation. So we're going to have kids and grandchildren, most likely present as well, right? And so it's just, my mind just boggles as to where this is all going. And I'm just so grateful to John, God. John, I don't know how, because you could have said you didn't have the emotional bandwidth for this. You could have said you were so busy, you couldn't take this on. But you heard our cry and you engaged with us. And out of that, you formed this unit. And here we are, still together months later. And you're giving people a safe space, a solid platform to become, to voice, you know, to have a voice, to speak their minds, to flourish, to shine. I mean, you're a great leader. You're giving everybody space to be who they were created to be. You're recognizing talent and strengths and skills, and you're saying, go for it, right? So I just want to say thank you to you and to Shannon and to Trinity for sharing your little nuclear family with the rest of us. Because I just see us as we've just come in and just bashed down the front door. And we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. So thank you so much for being so gracious with your time and your space and letting us all in to sit around your table and celebrate with you. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Xavier. What a great commentary. Thank you. Yep, hit all the nails on the head on that one. Appreciate that, and I look so much forward to doing that same thing. Just for all of us to get together in physical form to see one another like that. I think that would just be it's going to be a really emotional moment. And I am kind of having these affirmations like you, like what's that going to look like? And I think about these things in the ether of the early morning sometimes when I wake up early, just deciding whether I really want to get out of bed yet or I want to enjoy that moment of that affirmation, that visualization that's going on about where, you know, what that's going to look like for me. So, and look like for us. Thank you. Cyril, the man,
Hi,
the
everybody.
legend.
Hi. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, particularly our American friends. It's interesting that this one, Sonia and John really started to bubble up some really old stuff for me that I haven't thought of in quite a while. Because and it just made me remember the things that in my life that I've truly been thankful for. Things that now we were very poor and it was quite hard, but it was just the life you had to live. Really, you just had to get on with it. But I remember as a child thinking, why are these people doing these things for us? And I felt so thankful that they did, particularly when I got a bit older and started to understand more. And always felt that and really that like the groups, the clubs I used to go to, because although in UK we've got the local authorities are actually pretty good, well, they do their best anyway. My family had a really hard time, and but I had so much. I was just talking to the guy who came around and fixed my broadband the other day, and it just reminded me that, and he was talking about his life, and it reminded me of the things that I had as a child that kids don't get now. I mean, I had 2 Jewish youth clubs, and I had the Scouts, and with the Scouts, it was actually with the Scouts I got to understand a bit about the UK Harvest Festival, your Thanksgiving. It's very different here. It's very much it is about community, but more to do with, for me, it's always been about more the Christian thing, and I haven't really, it's not really a thing that the family celebrates as such. Well, my family, I mean, the families that I knew never really did in that way. It was more about giving to the church and to helping other people and stuff in terms of giving them food and so on, which I always thought was a great idea. It's interesting. I am so grateful for so many things, and it's interesting for the people who have helped me during my life have helped me to get this far. And I remember the things that John and Sonia were saying about, I mean, like particularly Sonia when she was talking about things, and it dawned on me that I've realized some of that hasn't lifted on me because I don't have those markers. I mean, to be honest, though, actually, it is interesting that I do have all three of those things. And although to be honest, there was quite a time when I was doing all the shopping as a young boy, so I made sure we always had toilet paper, so that was never a problem really. But I must admit, though, I make sure I have tissues, and I must admit I like to have kitchen towel, you might call it napkins, because they're just useful to have for the little things. And it's interesting that you bring that up, and I know we definitely really we only had the toilet paper, but so it's an interesting point. I am so grateful to all of you because you've I don't know how I would have necessarily survived this period, and I think I've emotionally survived it pretty well, and it's because of you guys. So I thank you all for that, and everybody on this group, and the ones who aren't here with us today as well, celebrating their day. So I'm rambling along, and I apologize for that, but it's just been a really interesting what it's bubbled up to the surface for me. And I am grateful for so many things, but it's interesting that the things I think about most are the situation I'm in. That I'm it's not brilliant, but it's okay. I'm surviving, and I look forward, and I'm working to change my current life and moving forward. And I thank John for helping me get back to my self-development self, because that has always been a great help to me to try and move myself forward. So thank you, everybody. I apologize for rambling on. Thank you.
That's what we're here for, Cyril, is give everybody opportunity to come out and share with the group and speak what's on their mind. We're coming up on the top of the hour. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Adrian, Nikki, Koila, Daisy, Edward, Mandy, David, Suzanne, Khaled, Toba, Jane, John, Lindsay, Alex, Alexandria, Stella, and Cyril, Sandi, and Ivier. For those who are still here, appreciate the time you spent here. I see a lone hand still here. Looks like Mandy wants to come out for a last hoorah. So come on out, Mandy. We got a few minutes left, and just want to acknowledge and give you an opportunity here. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. It was just quickly following on from what Cyril said. That I've been sitting here, it's like a light bulb's gone on. It's funny, it's sad but funny in a way. But we weren't poor, really poor as some people are, but we were poor when I was younger. And there were some times I remember we didn't have toilet paper, which is a really gross thought. I remember, I don't know if it's because they forgot to go shopping or because they just didn't have the money, because they weren't the sort of people to share that thought. But I remember when we were going there was newspaper in there, and it's like, and when we were at school, we used to have this horrible shiny toilet paper, which was like, what would you call it, baking paper. So you will never ever see either newspaper or that in my toilet now. It's like, so I think I do appreciate the toilet. From what Sonia said earlier, I think I do just haven't appreciated it. And we didn't have books, we had to go to the library. And I've got books everywhere, and I've gone to boot sales, and I bought books for my son when he was first born, and I've got clothes, and I won't throw anything away. And it's like, it's all because of that feeling of lack. And it's just like, I look around me, I've got so much junk, I've got so much to sort out, and it's just because I'm holding on to it so tight because I don't want to give it away. And last year, and when I was starting to run out of money before the month had run out, and I was starting to look in the cupboards and thinking, what can I go and get for food? We had food there, but it was like, I am grateful for that. Like things that John was saying, I am grateful for that, because I so appreciate now when that, you know, £20 or £10 to somebody is so much money. To some people, some people think, well, 10, you know, it's an extra £10, but an extra £10 is a lot of money in some cases. and I keep I've got little butter things in my fridge, and I've got little ketchup things in my fridge that I'm also kept. If we run out if we come back from a McDonald's or something, it'll go in the back of my fridge, and it's like, it's just really weird. It just, and this light bulb went on. So yes, I've got a lot of stuff to sort out. So yeah, thank you.
You bet, Mandy. Thank you.
Thank you
I
very
see
much.
Khaled's hand up. Hey, Khaled, come on out.
Hello. Hi,
okay.
everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Just wanted to say hello to everyone. Wanted to say happy Thanksgiving, and wanted to say a little bit about my life, how grateful I am. When I was one, I lost my dad, and I was the youngest in the family out of 7 siblings. Some of my sisters were married at the time, but my oldest brother was only 16. So dad was only the bread and butter of the family, and he died. So we survived. We got through everything, but there was days we struggled, food-wise, clothing-wise, and then I tried to buy a lot of things for my son or daughter, and my wife always says, "Why are you spoiling them?" I try to give them things I did. So grateful I could give them everything I could. So grateful to God. I have everything I could ask for. I'm sorry. I just want to say thanks to all of you here for the support. Sorry.
Khaled, that's okay. We think every day that we have what we have, and you're sharing with what you have now to your children. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you feel you're there for them, you're helping them. That's what I call being a great father, and being
I tried
available
to
to
give
them.
my kids what I couldn't have
Yep,
in my childhood, and I tried to give them more than what I have, more than what I could.
I
So that
say
I
that's
don't
pretty
regret.
honorable.
Yeah.
I say good for you. You should pat yourself on the back. You should be very happy with that. You should look to yourself in great kindness for what you've done for your kids too. And you feel that. And I mean, how many men out there aren't doing that for their kids?
Yeah,
So good for you,
I'm
man.
so thankful
Good for
that
you.
I still have my mom. A couple of years ago, she
Yeah.
had 2 minor brain stroke, and I thought she's going towards the dementia. But now I'm so blessed. She's back to normal. She's herself. She's her late 70s, and she's doing really good. So I could not be happier.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
So have gratitude there, Khaled. Have great gratitude and thankfulness, and be blessed, and know that you're being accountable and responsible as a father, as a husband, for things that are good for men to be. And I'm with you, man. I'm with you all the way. Good for you, man. Seriously. So, unless anybody else has anything else, I'd like to end on that, and have those gratitudes. Be thankful for all that you have, and enjoy that with your family and your friends and your colleagues today as much as you can, and take this day to do that for those who celebrate this during this time. Oh, it looks like I have one more hand, and I'll okay, Sandi, come on out.
One quick thing I just have to say is that we never have to be sorry in this family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. All right, everybody. Thanks, John. Appreciate the venue for us to be able to do this. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and all the blessings and all the feast and all the trimmings and all the bounty that goes along with it. You guys have a great, wonderful day. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, you take care.
Great, Mark.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks, Mark. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.